most of us know your story, but because of that, we all love to hear it because it's amazing how you went from executive to pres super quick. So start off with your story. You don't have to go into too much detail because I'm going to be asking you questions, and I'm sure you're going to be talking about little things too as we go.
Okay. So, hey, I'm sure if y'all don't know me, I'm Cheyenne. I'm 20 now. When I joined, I was 18. It was that semester of my senior year, and there was a $500 Ruby bonus on the table. I'm very red, like the reddest of red. And I was like, Courtney, I don't really care about anything else. Like, just tell me how to earn this bonus. And so she walked me through that. I went executive my first month, Ruby in my second month, and earned the $500 bonus. And my second paycheck was $973. And so that was like the first like aha moment that I had was like, holy crap, like this isn't fake. This is real. And so I just kept pushing. I missed Emerald the next month, and I thought that I like had to quit after that. I thought that you had to promote once a month or like you were done for. And then I went Emerald my fourth month and Diamond my fifth month, 3 days after I graduated high school. And at the time there was the $5,000 bonus, which was I think the Go bonus. And that was in May, and then I was able to pay for all of my college, like my years or semesters tuition. I moved into a dorm that was like an honors dorm that was really expensive, and I was able to pay for that. I haven't had to ask my parents for like a dime of anything since I joined this business. And in August, I moved into school, and I lost rank. All of my team was in high school. They had all joined me all like from school, so they were all really, really young. They all went to college, and they would have rather partied and done all of the things that I wasn't really interested in doing. And so they all quit, and I literally like not just like barely lost rank, literally went from like making $2,800 to $200 the next month. Like it was really bad. And I remember just going to Courtney and just being like, I don't know what to do. Like I'm struggling. I don't know if it's me like not leading right. Like I don't know why everyone's quitting and dropping like flies. And so basically from August to January, I was maintaining executive. I maintained Ruby like 1 or 2 months out of all of that. I never made over $500 except for like fast starts and stuff. And so January came around, and I was like, I'm really tired of not making any money. Like I have bills to pay that equaled up to my $2,000 paycheck that $200 just is not covering. And I went to Jade Hooper, and I was like, I need you to tell me like what I need to do. And I was like, I'm literally open to anything. And so I talked to her, and I was telling her about my chart, and she was like, okay, like you're being a really angry leader. Like you bulldozed over your team because you want that paycheck back, and you're going to have to figure out how to not do that. And so then I went to conference. When I got home from conference, I maintained Diamond in February. In March, I went double. In July, I went triple. And then in October, I went presidential. So I went from making a $200 paycheck to an average $20,000 in 11 months. And I'm sure you're going to ask questions on how that happened, but that's really just a brief story of where 2 years took me.
That's so exciting. Okay. Yes. So a lot of people, I feel like what I want to ask is emphasize on first is, I guess, how did you do it through high school and transitioning into college? Obviously, you said when you got to college, that's where things kind of fell apart. But I guess what I'm asking as far as like your lifestyle, and we all know people have opinions, and just, I guess, making that transition for, like, while just starting and just running. And then not where it fell apart, but kind of like after, like catching back up and being in school again. Because I know I've listened to your story a few times, and I remember you're saying like people used to make fun of you and stuff like that. So we all love some tough love when it comes to that, because I don't know, I tell people all the time, like the more haters you have doing this, the better. Like that's what you want. People are talking about you because you're doing something magical. So I guess just your best advice on that.
So when I first started this, I didn't post for a while. Like I posted there wasn't an Instagram story then. So I posted on my Facebook, And that's where a lot of kids from high school weren't, because that kind of like faded out to where it was just adults and like the parents' mom, like all the parents were on Facebook and the kids were not. So I like didn't really deal with it right at first. But once I started shifting over to Instagram, like when my like warm market kind of faded out, it started. And everyone in high school, they're complete assholes already. So when you start doing something that's really different, you're like pray for them. So literally every single day, like I'd be walking down the hallway and people would be like, "It works, girl. Like you need a wrap." Like literally I got the worst. And every time my team like tries to tell me that they're getting bullied, I'm like, you don't even know. I win in that category. It was constant, like every single day. Like people yelled at me like when I walked across the stage. People would comment awful things on my Instagram post. People tweet. Still to this day, literally every single day. Like I posted something on my Instagram story last night, which I don't even know why I bother, but like so many people post stuff on Snapchat and they post stuff on Twitter, and it's all people from high school, and I know it's about me and like girls on my team. And so it really doesn't ever stop. And I think that that's something too you're going to have to understand, is like giving it your time of day is so wasteful, and you could be doing it like doing so much more with your time than sitting there trying to retaliate and trying to, you know, tweet back at them and trying to comment back at them. I literally just delete and block. Like my very best friend from high school, we were best friends from like 7th grade until we graduated. We don't talk at all anymore because she like didn't stand up for me. She like got in on all of it, and I blocked her. So as much as that sucks, and people that you care about and people that, you know, you respect and that you thought respected you, you're going to lose really good people, but the people that you gain are so much better. Like I thought then that those were my friends, and now I'm like, holy crap, what did I even think I had then? Like the friends in this business and being able to relate to people that, you know, are on the same level as you is just such a much better friendship than people that are willing to mock you and make fun of you and all of that. So high school was really bad, and it got to me at the beginning because I didn't understand what I had my hands on. It's really hard to be confident when you're just getting started into something. Obviously now I'm like, you could all make fun of me for all I care. I make more money than you're ever going to make in your life. Go for it. Like, you know, so you kind of have to, you have a, like a mindset shift over like just how you feel about it. And it'll change, you know, as you become more confident in the business. I don't know if y'all are all leaders or what this is, but you know, you'll become more confident and it won't affect you. Now, obviously it affects me because I'm human, but I blow it off a lot easier. When I got to college, it kind of faded out more, but I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it as much. It's just like, I feel like people kind of put you in a different category. And so like when you start making friends with people, they're kind of like, oh, she does this. That's kind of like odd, because they don't understand it. And so that kind of like creates a barrier that you'll find friends that are more, I guess, just more compatible with what you're doing. Like there's some people that just don't understand and never will and don't have a brain cell for this, and it's fine. But some people, you know, are going to be friends with you because of it and they think it's cool. So it's never going to get better, but my biggest advice for it is don't try to retaliate. Don't try to say stuff back. Don't try to comment back on their stuff. Don't even waste your time. Literally just remove them, because I always say like I'm doing what they should have done a long time ago. I block them, I remove them, because I don't ever want to see it, and they obviously don't want to see my stuff. So it's obviously probably always going to hurt your feelings a little bit and just make you upset and angry, just because you're human and you have a heart and you have feelings. But just understand that like half those people that have said stuff to me have bought from me, or they're on my team. And it's the best feeling ever when one of them that is like talked about you forever messages you and they're like, hey, like I want to try the products. And I'm like, I really want to say something, but it's fine. So just know that they're always going to come back, and you like they're talking about you because they're jealous of what you're doing, and they're never going to be able to do something like that until you continue to show them why they need to be there. And some people will grow up and some people will come around, but some people just deserve the block button, and that's really all that it is. But just know that if you're going through it, you're not the only one. Like I've gone through it the entire time, but look what I've been able to create. And like the people and the friends that I have on my team now are much better than the people that have made fun of me since day one.
Yes. So yeah, the majority of the people on here are diamonds and above. There are a few people who are not, but they're emerging. And I feel like what we're talking about right now is super important and could be one of a reason why they're stuck or why they're in the position that they're in. Because I feel like unfortunately, in the environment that you're in can make a huge difference on your success, whether you have success or you're having a hard time. And it's sad because unfortunately, sometimes it's the people closest to you. So no, again, like she just said, we all go through it, but it's just there's a lot better to come, right? So, okay. Let's see. So you kind of talked about it a little bit, how you started just reaching out, but this is very common. And when you went from, you promoted fast to diamond, you had fast success, whatever the story is for any of you guys. And then we have setbacks because it's natural and it can happen, but we can prevent, I guess, how big of a setback you allow it to be, with a good mindset and good mindset. I'm just going to stick to that. So what's your best advice, and what did you do when you did drop down to executive and you're like, this is horrible, to I'm going to just do it. I'm going to get over myself. Oh, you're muted again. Okay, you're good.
There was a loud noise, and I knew that it was you were going to be able to hear it, so I muted myself. So did you say, like, how I got, like, out of the mindset and, like, tried to get out of it? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And I mean, I even go through it too. We all go through these phases, but there's very important things in certain steps that could stop you from taking that far of a leap back. So, I mean, any advice you have, like, what went through your head? What did you do, etc.?
So people typically ask me when that happened. They're like, what did you think about quitting? Never once did I ever think about quitting, because I understood my dad's in sales, and I knew, like, there were periods of the year that sucked, and there were periods of the year that enrollments weren't great. And there were times, like, when, like, environmental things happen or whatever happened, like, things shift and things change. And I think that's important to understand first and foremost, is it's going to be a roller coaster all the time. Like, you can't control every aspect that goes into your business. So things will happen, and, like, you may lose rank, and important people may quit, and this or that. Like, everyone's business is different. But I want you to understand, like, it's okay. And it's not something that's ever, that doesn't define you. That doesn't mean that, if you lose rank, that's where you're going to be forever. It doesn't mean that you're never going to overcome that. I mean, y'all know you're diamond and above. It takes one person to just completely change your business, and you just go on a sprint with them, and then more people come. Like, so when I lost rank, and I lost rank so, like, epically, looking back now, I realized, like, there was a lot of things with my mindset that were wrong, a lot of things with the ways that I was leading, but it's not something I could have necessarily prevented, because I feel like it's just growth. It's like, it's not things that, I meant to do, or things that weren't meant to happen. Like, I'm thankful that they did, because they taught me so much about my leadership, because I lead completely different than I did then. I didn't believe in personal development then. So my mind, I was like, I have a great mindset. What's wrong with yours? Like, what's wrong? Why are you sucking? I didn't know that it was me, because I didn't believe in that. And I didn't see the importance in personal development and making sure that my mind was right. And so there's a ton of factors that went into that, but there was also a ton of factors that went to get me out of it. I had to start plugging into my leaders. I'm really close with Courtney, and I'm really close with Jade, and I, like, respect their leadership so much. And I knew going to them, if I would have for a while, I just kept it to myself and was like, oh, I can figure this out. I went diamond in 5 months. I'm, like, basically really good at this. But I didn't, I realized soon that I had to reach out, and I had to get help, because your leaders, like, I know Emily and, like, Cassie and all of them, like, they've been through everything, and they'd be willing to tell you and coach you through it. So don't ever keep it to yourself. Always go to be coached. Just remember to be coachable, because they've been through things and they want to teach you through things. And I'm thankful that I went through that too, because when my team goes through it, I'm able to help them. I'm able to say, like, okay, like, let's look at your leadership. Like, how are you leading? Let's look at your mindset. How, like, are you in a positive mindset? Are you, like, talking negatively about everything? Because, like, what you speak out is what's going to happen. So, I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I'm going to have to, and for the longest time, I never got a chart out. I never had my steps to success out. I wasn't, like, making a daily goals list. I was just doing whatever, and it wasn't working. The moment that Jade said, get your double chart out and, like, look at something and make a goal, it changed everything for me, because I didn't get a chart out because my chart was crap. And I was like, oh, I don't need a chart. Like, I just need to get my diamond back. She was like, get a new chart out, like be inspired by something, get out of your hole that you're in and start doing something different, because I was just doing the same things that got me into that position in the first place. So that's when Jade just told me, she's like, you're going to have to be willing to be uncomfortable and change things and do something different, you know, like revamping personal development, changing the way that I was leading, getting a chart out, making goals for myself, trying to make myself more excited because the things I was doing were making me not excited. And once I did that, you guys, I haven't looked back since. Like, I literally never turned my head to look back at the things that I was doing, because the things I started doing to change, to be like willing to be uncomfortable, literally changed everything. And I saw my volume start going up, and I started coaching my team. And one of the very, very biggest things that I did when I did lose rank was I was looking at my chart, and everyone was just a $400 to me. And saying it now, I'm like, wow, like I was an asshole. But now I realized that I learned from it and I've like overcome that. But I looked at everyone, I was like, they're $400. Like, I just need them to be at 400. Well, when I got my double chart out and I had new girls on my team and new blood, I was so excited because I was teaching them how to go Ruby, and I was doing those things that, you know, Courtney did with me and that I did at the beginning. So I was teaching them, okay, let's go Ruby instead of let's get to the 400 club. And I stopped looking at them as just places and building blocks to get me where I was going, and started looking at them more like people, and more like, you know, people that wanted this just as bad as I did, and people that needed to promote. And I started, you know, teaching them and coaching them and doing what, you know, I did to get to Diamond. And then pretty soon I had people that were just taking off because I stopped looking at them as a box.
Mm-hmm. I feel like two things that you said was, the first one, you talked when you were talking to Jade and she told you had a double chart out. I feel like I talked to so many people who have a small setback where they promoted to Ruby or they promoted to Emerald or Diamond, and they're still looking at that chart. I'm like, you got to get rid of it. Like, I know you want to get back to it, but the way you're going to get back to it is by focusing on the next level, the next rank. Your mindset's going to shift higher. If you're trying to just keep yourself where you are, then maybe that's what you're going to get. But if you are focusing on the bigger picture, the next level, then you're definitely going to get where you were before. So I'm always like 10x mindset. And for like training too, I know someone asked that question, but I forgot what you said, what I was going to say now, but
training them to go Ruby, like, yeah. Oh, and just training them higher.
And being like, some people, and I caught myself doing this 100% because I am very red myself. Sometimes I'm just way too hard on people, and I see others do the same thing, and I say, just because they're not great like you are when you first started or where you are right now doesn't mean they're gonna be like your next Diamond, you know? So I look at everyone almost the same, you know, and if they're showing potential, they have potential. So you gotta treat them like gold, like they're your best friends, because we all have different stories. Like, it took me 8 months and I was horrible for those 8 months, and then something sparked me, and that was it. It was history from there. So okay, with that, training new distributors.
So ever since I was pushing for triple, I did it a lot differently than I did when I first got started. I keep it so simple, because if they're a simple-minded person and they need that like breaking down thing, that's perfect. You gave it to them. But you can always do more than that. So if you enroll a distributor that's like really red, that's ready to go, or whatever they are, they're going to, you know, ask for more, and you're going to realize that. So I just keep it super, super simple. The first thing I do is ask them for a selfie and ask them what their why is, so that I can welcome to the team page. And then I always get their why, because if they try to quit at any point during, you know, that new distributor training, I'm like, yo, I don't think you're willing to be in $100,000 worth of debt. That's why you joined. So I always have that, and I whip it out right away. I'm not like afraid to just completely be real with somebody. If that's not your personality, then you'll have to do it a different way. But I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure like you just spent $49 to join this business to do this, and you're literally quitting 48 hours into this. Like, how did you expect this to work? That's the way that I do it, and it works. Sometimes, I mean, obviously there's some people that still quit, but I have that, number one, as leverage. Second thing is I have them get into eSuite because I cannot stand seeing commission hold in my downline orders. So I have them get in there first to where if they're green, automatically they're already in that looking around while I'm sending them the next steps. The next thing I do is have them post. I don't give them a post. I want them to create their own, whether you have them do a product post or like a I joined it works post. I don't have them say it works in it. I just have them say like I joined a business where, you know, like it's work on my phone, like do this and that, and they make it their own. So some people get really creative. Some people literally just put a sentence. It's fine, but it's what they wanted to do. And then I have them make their dirt list, have them send out their message to their friends and family and just say like, send me a screenshot of everything. And then I send them a new distributor training video that I made. Definitely recommend doing that because it's personal. They see you and that it's actually you. And I just literally go over like how to enroll your customers, you know, what eSuite is, you know, whatever the bonuses are. Obviously they're always changing, so I'm always gonna have to be revamping the training video, but I think it's important to like keep it super simple, super short, but it's also like really personal because they get to watch that if that's a way that they learn too. So basically you want your new distributor training to kind of aid to every kind of like color and language because they're going to take off with something that you're giving them that's working for them. My YouTube channel is my name. Just like search my name and all my videos are on there. Like every training I've ever done, all that. So you can find it on there. And then I send them, once they kind of start sending me screenshots and I know they're actually going to do something, I break down posting. I have a list of like people for them to follow. Emily's in it. So I just have them like, you know, look at her Facebook or, you know, I have a list of girls that are on my team as well. And I just have them kind of get inspiration from that and kind of coach them on posting. And then I add them. I have like Allison Messer gave me this idea, but I have like an iCloud sharing for my stories that our team makes, and I have like leaders in it, and we all just like have our stories in there, and that helps a lot because it just shows them like what's expected of them. But that's really all. And then once I know that they're actually gonna like stick it out, like it's been 3 or 4 days and we're still talking, I get them on a Zoom. I'm a very face-to-face leader, so I'll FaceTime them or Zoom with them or something to where I can answer their questions and like get them going. I feel like if I don't do that, like yes, some people don't need that because they're not people like that, but some people really do, and it really helps them understand things. So just keep it super simple, you know, try to make it personal, make your messages like really, you know, exciting. I always like put a bunch of exclamation points and just say like, I'm so excited, like let's do this, you're gonna get $100 shopping spree. Like just keep it super pumped and excited, because a lot of people do need that when they get started because they're still nervous as heck.
Yeah, I remember watching your video, I think when you went Prez or went Triple, and you basically were talking about this, and it's just so important, like I said, to treat your newbies like gold, not like we don't with everyone else, but you need to be like accountability partners with them, and you need to celebrate every little thing. Like I celebrate them sending out 10 messages. I'll celebrate them sending out 3 messages, you know? So instead of saying, well, you need to send out 10, just celebrate the 3 and go from there. It's baby steps for some people. So love it. Okay.
Yeah, I sent like a million like gifs of like people dancing and screaming. Like they'll send me a screenshot. I'm like, girl, yes, you rock at this. And I'm always like, so many people don't get this far. Like you're killing it. Like I'm the biggest hype man with my new distributors. It's embarrassing, but to them they think it's cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely agree. Okay, so let's see. How is your daily routine? Like how do you organize and stay focused throughout life?
So my schedule has changed like a lot throughout this business. And I think that's really important to understand is like your schedule is never going to look like someone else's. And I think at the beginning, I put a lot of stress on myself that I was like, oh my God, I'm not getting out 150 messages a day. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that, because I went to school from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. I had cheer practice every single day until 6:30. And from 6:30 to midnight, I worked. So literally from 8 a.m. to midnight, I was busy doing stuff. And so at school I couldn't be on my phone because our Wi-Fi was blocked. So like I blocked all social media. So I had to work when I went to the bathroom, or like sometimes I would escape to my car so that I could get service. Like I made it work, but it was 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. and being busy is literally the best because you get so much stuff done in the time that you do have. And so I did that for a long time. It was ridiculous. I don't know how I went diamond in 5 months. I don't even know how I had time for it, but I made it happen. And then when I went to college, I had a lot more time. So that's why when people join my team and they're like, I'm in college, I'm busy. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not busy. College is literally, you have so much free time. You have a class here, a class here, a class here. You study in between. You have a million amounts of time. So I just like, it was random. I would wake up, reply to my messages, send out messages, make my first post for the day, go to class. While waiting for my professor to show up, I would send out messages, walking to class, I would respond. Like, I just had a system going for like what I was doing. But the biggest thing that I've always done is I've never like put pressure on myself to where I had to do like a certain amount every single day. Like what I do is, some days I can only get out 50 messages and one post and like 10 things on my story. And that I know that that's the best I could do. But there's some days where, I have like a whole day and I get like a ton of stuff done. So I think if you make a good goal for yourself and just like when I go to bed, like I know I did what I was supposed to do. And there's some nights where I'm like, okay, I could have worked a little bit harder. But just understand your schedule is always going to look different. And like now I quit school on the second day of the semester. I don't like share that on my profile because I don't want people to think that they can't do college and this at the same time, but I found my career and this is what I wanted to do. So I've been doing this full time and I got so much more stuff done when I wasn't full time than I do now. But now I've obviously got my schedule and I've, whipped myself into gear. But at first it was really hard because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so much time to like do all these rep roll things. And I didn't get anything done for like a week and a half. And then, so I like kicked myself into gear and went presidential because I was like, I quit school so that I could do this full time. So I don't know if any of y'all are on that page yet, but I definitely was like, I'm quitting and I'm doing this 110%. And it was hard to do that on my, like, to get myself into gear, but I'm so thankful I did now. But above it all, just know that every single day your schedule is going to be different, no matter what you're doing. But just every single night when you go to bed, ask yourself, like, did I do everything that I was supposed to do? And did I make it happen to like the best of my ability? Because you're not going to be able to do the same thing every single day. And I think it's really hard to not put that pressure on yourself to like make sure you get out 200 messages a day, because some days you can't. But on the days that you can, make sure you do.
Mm-hmm. I always say income producing activities. Okay, awesome. So I think there was just one more question about as far as like training and layered leadership. Someone asked like if you do certain group chats, how do you go about that?
So I have a leader's text message, and it has like everyone who's diamond and above on my team, and then like just girls that are amazing. Like there's 2 rubies in there, but you can't tell that they're not diamond. Like, so I just kind of have girls that are really awesome and it motivates them. And that, like, we don't really talk about the business as much in there because everyone pretty much knows what they're doing. So that's more of just like a best friend chat. And I'm so thankful that I did that because we're all so close now and we talk about everything, and it's just like a fun thing to have so that it's not just all business. Like you get to have fun with your friends and like be able to talk to them, be close to them. I'm super thankful for that. And then I have each one of my diamonds and above like has their own like kind of boom chat. So like, a double has it, like a triple has it for all of her girls. And that's really awesome for accountability. They only add people in there that are like actively working and enrolling. And then I have my team page where it's just like I just created that when I went presidential because I love Courtney's team page, but it just got to where like I kind of felt like a lost duck because I was like, I need to lead somebody because all my, diamonds and everyone starts doing their thing. And then I had nobody to lead. So I made my team page and I was really thankful I did that, which I know I don't know how y'all do team pages, but I was really happy that I got to do that and like lead. But we just have like our, diamond and above BIM chats, our team chat, and then I have our leaders chat. And sometimes like when people kind of fall off or they're not working, I kick them out so fast because it holds them accountable to get back in. And then we just like, if there's an emerald that's rocking it out, they get added to the leaders chat and it just kind of, lifts them up and makes them feel really important.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Okay, cool. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm an open book. Ask away.
Could be about anything. Okay.
I hope all of you are going to conference. That's one thing we could talk about.
What'd you say? Sorry.
I
I
said, I
got
hope all of y'all are going to conference
Mhm.
because if you're not, you're going to regret it.
Yes. I always talk about the FOMO. It's real. Okay,
I
LC.
could not imagine.
Okay, LCs always get rejected after pricing. What's your best
Um,
advice?
so I'm pretty sure like half the people I tell the price to, ignore me. So just know that every single one of us on the Zoom that happens to, that's why everything is so important with follow-ups. Like that, I think the average is like 8 to 12 times that you're gonna have to follow up with somebody. Like I sent with Connect now, I'm following up all the time because I can just mass follow up with all my customers. It's the best thing in the whole wide world. Um, but like half those people are never going to respond. Like they don't respond. It's like 30 times I still message them. I message people and follow up with people and like until I'm blocked or they say like absolutely not, do not ever text me again. But I follow up with people all the time, every single day, about new deals. I don't care if I talk to them about skincare. If Thermophyte comes out, I'm messaging everybody because they're eventually going to sign up if you continue to be persistent with it. Like how many times have you added stuff to your cart on Victoria's Secret and they email you like 12 times because you didn't pay for it because you ended up having to pay for shipping? Yeah. And then they have a semi-annual sale and they email you and you're like, okay, I'll finally buy some. That's what happens with us. So never stop following up, even if you tell them the price and they ignore you.
Love that. So true. Fortunes in the follow-up. Um, I know you said in your videos, you mentioned you're always excited, and eventually your team caught the excitement. What were some of the things you talked about to keep up the excitement when it felt like people weren't active?
So I remember like a month ago, Jade asked me to go live. I don't know if some of y'all are still in her page, but I talked about, I had asked my team, what do you think the shift was when some of the girls that were still there that were not working that came back? Like I had a girl that went executive in her first month and quit, and she's 10,000 from going triple right now, and she quit for 6 months. And February came around. That's why, like, do not ever give up on people. I swear. Like, there are people in your downline that are quiet, that are just hiding behind like everything right now. But the excitement after conference and everything that's going to go on, they're going to come out of the woodworks and they're going to go triple soon. Just letting you know. So, I asked them all, I was like, what did you feel like the shift was? And they just said, like, you were so excited, like with conference, and you were so excited to like posting all the time. You're posting on your page. Like, I just was so excited about everything. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, conference is coming. The boom is coming. I don't know what the heck the boom is, but we're going to find out. Like, I was so annoying. And I had a team page then. It was an epic fail. I was like a diamond maintaining executive with a team page. There was like no leadership in there. But I was just like going live and I was like, hey, and there's like one viewer and I'm like, I'm so excited. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm really excited. And they just like caught on to that. And I was always like sharing on my page, like, wow, the momentum is so crazy right now. Like, even though there was like 2 enrollments in my downline orders, I was like, wow, it's crazy right now. Like, and I was laughing because I went to go look in my orders now from January 1st to the 11th. I had 23 enrollments last January, distributors and customers, 23. And this year, from the 1st to the 11th, I had 411, just customers. I didn't do distributors on that one. So, like, I was really freaking excited with 23, and now imagine how I am about 411. Like, I'm really out there about it, and I just shouted it out all the time about things that were happening and, like, and I was sharing stories of people, like, there were a lot of people around that time that were like sharing what conference did for their business, and I was copying and pasting that and putting it on my page and like sending it in my team chat that no one would even respond to. I'm like, look at this, like this is freaking crazy, it's gonna be you, and they're like not even working, but they just fed off that. So just be excited about everything and being like a really obnoxious cheerleader, and the people that will be there now will catch on because it worked for me.
Love that. Love it. Okay. What do you do about distributors who don't reply much to you, don't do the steps you have them take to get started? How do you get them more motivated? Okay, I guess you kind of just answered that question, literally. I feel
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
feel like
mean, like, I have a girl, for instance, that I enrolled 3 days ago that I put 4 customers under her to get my bonus and was, like, texting her, send her this, send her that. She wasn't responding. I was like, "Hey, like, are you just gonna, like, ignore me?" And then she didn't respond to that, and I sent her, like, 14 question marks, and I was like, "Hey, like, I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna work with somebody else if you're not, like, gonna work back with me." I mean, it may be rude. I'm just so red. People know where to find you. So, like, if you reach out to them, like, 4 or 5 times and do things for them and, like, text them, they don't text you back, they know your number. Like, if they're gonna come back, they can come back. Just make sure that you've done your part and, they can come back or they can't, or they might not, but you did what you're supposed to do.
Mhm. Where I'm literally the same person. Very
Yeah.
red. Very red.
You cannot motivate the unmotivated, and you'll end up unmotivating yourself trying to drag people along. And I don't know if any of y'all on here triple diamond and above, but Kelsey Thornton posted a video 2 days ago in the Lifers page, and I was like, holy mackerel. Yes, she said, like, you're going on a trip to LA and you have this person that joins your team, you're so excited, and they're like, yeah, pick me up, and you like go by their house to pick them up, and they don't show up, and you sit there and wait, and you wait and wait and wait, and they don't come out, and you're like, hello, like, you said you were coming with me. And she's like, sometimes you're just gonna have to get, like, back on the road and drive, and those people will catch up with you later, maybe fly and meet you, but you're going to LA. And that was, like, the biggest, like, I was like, wow, yes. So, like, don't wait on people to come back to you or to work, because you're going to sit there waiting at their house and miss, like, the direction that you're going. And I like shouted that out to my team, like, way too excitedly also. So keep that in mind.
I love that. I've been saying a lot recently when people are asking me about reaching out to distributors, when to stop, or even just like following up with potentials in general. And like, I'm nervous, like, I don't want them to get mad. I'm like, you can't not be persistent or feel bad for trying to literally change someone's life. Like, that's their problem, not yours, so you're trying to do something amazing and help them change their lives. So that's
Like,
what
they'll come back to you. Courtney Lavey unfollowed Courtney Bohr and came back and went presidential in 4 months and followed her back. So, you can't annoy anyone to the point where they're like, you're going to give them all this stuff and, something happens in their life, they lose their job, they know exactly where to go because you were there helping them and trying to get them started for so long. So Don't ever feel bad about that.
Exactly. Okay. We make an impact, whether it was a little awkward or great, but they're coming back anyways because they remember you.
Exactly.
When you're training a new distributor, how many messages you tell them to send out daily? A lot of people freak out when I say 100 in the beginning.
I word it differently. I just say 10 people an hour, and they're like, oh, okay, that's easy. Because I have them do their first 30, and then once they kind of get through that, I'm like, okay, now, because what I did when I got started was went through my Facebook friends, Instagram followers, and phone contacts. When I went through my phone contacts, I enrolled so many customers because, I mean, I guarantee if you went through there before you started this business, you have like your first grade teachers in there. My kindergarten teacher was a customer, like half my teachers were a customer. So I always have them send it out to their 30. Once they feel like they've gone through that, I tell them to go through all of their friends, followers, and phone contacts. So that typically keeps them really, really busy. And then once they get out of that, we've already kind of moved on to growing your network and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I do the same.
I just worded it.
Yeah, I say 10 an hour, and then as we like continue throughout the days or whatever, if they're not sending me screenshots or maybe they say like I'm not enrolling anything, then I say, okay, well, how many did you send yesterday? How many did you send the day before? And then if they're like 20, I'm like, let's focus on doing 40 today. Let's get out 40. And then I like slowly build them into it. Okay. Sammy asked, what do you do to have a positive mindset all the time? What's your favorite self-development? I'm just gonna answer and say it's totally unrealistic to have a positive mindset all the time. Like, that's not realistic at all. And that's the first thing that you need to accept and like embrace and understand first before like you move on, because it's just
like not a thing. I definitely wake up some days and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to respond to the 97 text messages I have. Everybody sucks. Like still to this day, my team's amazing. And there's still days where I'm like, everybody sucks. Like, no one's working. Everyone's coming out with me with excuses. And then like gets into my mind. Like, it's definitely never, ever not you're never going to be happy and positive all the time. I just started reading 100 Days to Be Brave. I only bought this because it was cute. I don't like to read, but if I go on Amazon, I find something that's shiny. I'm like, I need that. It was so cute that I figured it would look good in pictures, and then I opened it and read it, and it was great. So I've been reading this. It's just something, and it's short. It's like a devotional kind of thing. But like the first one, I was like, yes. I posted on my Instagram story because it like spoke life to me. Obviously, Girl Wash Your Face. Everybody's read that, and if you haven't read it, you're doing life wrong. It's just so good because I hate reading, guys. I hate reading, and that book, I finished it in one day, and then I was really sad that I finished it. So, but I'm more of like a videos person. I'm more of like a 5-minute personal development video. I don't believe in reading like 5 hours a day because that's 5 hours I could have got like really productive stuff done. But I think what I always tell my team is do what you feel like you need to do to get to a positive mindset. So if you're somebody that needs to read 5 hours a day and that like gets you like fired up, go for it. But I'm more of like a wake up, watch an inspirational, like a video of someone up on a stage preaching to me for 5 minutes and I'm good. But 100 Days to Brave is like really good.
Love that. I have one of my friends, Amanda, in the business. She bought me last Christmas Jensen Chero's calendar booklet for You Are a Badass. So each day is a different quote from one of her books, and that's just like the 3 sentences or the 1 sentence or like the 7 sentences. Like it's not long at all. It just gets me super pumped up and motivated each day that I read them. So got to do what works for you. Okay, Sarah asked the difference between your best friend chat and the work chat. Do you feel anyone gets distracted? As in, how do you separate work time and chatting?
I mean, in our chat, like it literally just goes off all day and like they'll say like, hey, like how do I fix this DT situation? Like there's random stuff throughout the day where it's like about the business, or they'll send a screenshot or ask like, or those crazy customers that are like, I see this ingredient, I know it causes cancer, whatever. We'll answer stuff in that. That's just like immediate help, or like if they need me to like email my band, they'll like send me stuff or something like that. But you know, generally it's just, we just talk all day long, but like it doesn't mean they're like not working or not doing anything. Like I think that that's like vital to have that like friendship level of like just like talking and going through life together and like talking about certain things. But like we definitely like our team is huge on work Zooms. Like there's a work Zoom going right now. Like we just always are on it together. So that's also another thing. Like we're like texting and like talking about things, but we're working at the same time. So it's just kind of like what kind of a culture you build with your own team on like, you know they're working, or like how you go about that. But that's just kind of like what really works for us.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, my best friends that are mainly all in this business anyways, we really only talk about work anyways. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I'm the same exact way in how my group chats work, so
like we don't sit there and like talk all day long about like boys and shopping. Like it's typically always like about the business in a way. Like we're just always like, oh my gosh, this girl, like we talk about customers or like people, and like it's just fun. Like I just think it's fun to have that. But obviously text message kind of blows up all the
time. Okay. All right, I'm gonna take this last question. What do you say? I'm assuming, or what do you use to follow up with PLCs? People are judgmental about the business. And I know you said you would try to not care, give them the time of day, but is there something else you do to not really care what people say or think?
Well, you like saying people are so judgmental about all the time. I really don't deal with judgmental people. And I guess it's just because I literally shut them out and move on about my life. So I think that's kind of not like point you out or anything, but I feel like that's kind of like an insecurity. Like you're focusing so much on the people that are judgmental that you're not thinking about like all the people that are not, like all the people that are ready to buy and the people that have been watching you to join. So don't put so much attention on the people that, you're feeling like they're so judgmental because you don't feel like as confident right now. But definitely just go out there and like share this. Like I make videos all the time about the business. I talk about it every 5 seconds. Like if they're going to be judgmental and say something to me, which most people don't say anything, they're always watching behind the scenes, but I just like block, move on, and just not care because I'm focusing on the good. So, I mean, maybe like read some personal development where you feel like super hyped and super confident about what you're doing, and just try to make like a mindset shift. Like I feel like there's more people that support us and like watch my stuff than people that don't support me, if that makes any sense. So, just focus on the positives, focus on talking to more people, reaching out to more people, and just being really excited in your posts, and move on from the people that don't have a brain cell for that.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say too, just like you said, it's all mindset and it's all perspective. No matter what you do in life, you're gonna have crappy, negative people. So are you gonna focus on them, or are you gonna focus on the good? It's kind of like relationships. You had a bad past relationship. Not all guys are bad,
Yeah.
So what are you going to focus on? What are you going to bring your attention to? It's law of attraction. I have a feeling you haven't watched The Secret. Who asked that? Definitely focus on self-development, because it's so true. Even if you think there's more negative than not right now, or mean than not, okay, but focus on that one person who isn't and take it from there and focus on that. Just merely talking about it or complaining about it or expressing it you're going to see more of it. It's kind of like you're talking to a friend about a new car they got, and you're like, I literally have never seen that car in my life. It's so weird. I've never seen that. And then you're driving and all you see is that car now. It's perspective.
Yes.
It's like the color game where they say take a look around your room and look at everything that's green. And then I say, okay, now tell me what was yellow. You guys get it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, anytime too, my team comes to me and they're like, I'm not enrolling, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, I literally just want to scream because I cannot stand that. And like, you need to shift your mindset, stop focusing on the crap that's not working. If it's not working, fix it, do something more. Like when I'm feeling discouraged, I plug in that much harder. Like when I wake up and I'm like, I really don't want to do that, I just like, okay, get your ish together, do it anyways. And then I know like once I start doing it and I start messaging and I start getting responses, I get really excited again. So do the things that are making you feel discouraged and do more of it. Like if you feel like your message isn't getting a lot of responses, change your message, go out there and message 100 people, and those 10 people that end up responding, those 10 conversations are what make me so excited, because I'm like, oh my God, they're going to sign up. And I just like, especially when I'm promoting, if people ask, like, they're like, well, how did you do that? I'm like, I literally didn't focus on anyone that said no. I don't even remember people telling me no, because I was so adamant on finding yeses and being excited about what I was doing and doing more and more and more and more, that I was getting more results, and literally ignoring everything that wasn't working. So I'm like, I don't have time for it. I'm going for good. So if you're one of those people that's kind of on this, it's like, well, I'm struggling with enrolling right now. You're struggling because you're saying you're struggling. If maybe you haven't enrolled any distributors with the $49 deal, or not as many as you wanted, you're saying you're not enrolling, and you're sitting there saying it over and over and over that you're not enrolling as much as you want. But if you would just say, like, I'm going to enroll, like, I'm going to post really intentionally, and I'm going to get those distributors, and they're going to come to me, you would be amazed with like just what you're able to do when you believe in yourself a little bit more and stop saying negative things over and over and over. Because I lose it on my team. I like send them a voice message. I'm like, hey, yo, knock that out. Like, move on to something better. Start being more positive. And just a simple mindset shift can change everything.
And it gets everyone else down around you. Like, my number one rule in my group chats is no negativity allowed. I'll knock you out.
Yeah.
Not physically, but you get it. All right.
I probably would physically if they said it to my face. You're like, bye.
Yeah, because then it brings me down too, and everyone else surrounding you. So
Yeah.
I mean, I was there. That was the first 8 months of my business. So I completely understand. But that's why I'm hard on the people who are negative now, because I'm like, do not let it go as long as I did, please.
Yeah.
Okay, you freaking rock. Thank you so much for getting on.
You're welcome.
We'll see you at conference.
I'm so excited.
I know, me too. All right, everyone, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.